Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video sharing my thoughts on why I really enjoyed the Oblivion Remaster. Honestly, I just planned to check it out casually, play a bit here and there, and then move on. But almost 3 hours in, it totally pulled me in and reminded me why I love Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls series as a whole. So I figured I will throw together a short video summing up what I think works great in the remaster and maybe a few things that don't, especially when comparing it to Skyrim. Just a heads up though, it is all based on my personal experience after putting in about 75 hours and finishing the main story. I actually played the original Oblivion way back in middle school. I've got this funny memory from the time. I used cheat codes to get more gold, better gear, all that fun stuff, but my dad thought cheats could somehow break the computer, so I had to be sneaky. I kept all codes written in a notepad and only used them when he wasn't around. Then one day I accidentally left the notepad open right next to the computer, yeah, right on the cheat code page. Needless to say, I ended up touching grass for about a month after that. That's actually the only memory I really have from my original playthrough. I never replayed it and pretty sure I didn't even touch the main story. So for me, this remaster kinda feels like a brand new Elder Scrolls title, and it's wild that it just dropped out of nowhere. Alright, so visually, this game looks absolutely stunning. From what I have heard, Bethesda used Unreal Engine 5 on top of their old engine, and honestly, I think it's pretty cool approach. I'm not usually a huge fan of Unreal Engine 5 though. From my past experience, games using it tend to struggle with optimization and have a few visual glitches. But still, you can't deny how amazing the graphics look. And I'm hoping that as developers get more familiar with engine, those issues will get ironed out. I doubt Bethesda will use Unreal Engine 5 for the next Elder Scrolls games though, and if they stick to their old engine, it might actually end up looking worse than this remaster, which is kind of a shame. Now, let me just say, the Oblivion gates in remaster, they look absolutely terrifying, like actual portals to hell. It's one of the most immersive things I have seen in a game. Running through the forest just feels right. It's hard to explain, but it has this vibe that makes you want to be there. And one of my favorite parts, those mid-sunny days in the cities. That's when the modern graphics really pop for me. I have been using Coral as my main hub, but Anvil is by far the most beautiful city in the game. Maybe it's just me, I grew up in a port town, so something about Anvil just feels like a home. I would not say their master blows Skyrim out of the water visually, but on technical level, yeah, it's definitely a step up. Lightning, particle effects, all that good stuff. Alright, let's talk about the stuff that didn't really hit the mark for me, specifically dungeons. At first, they felt like a cool throwback to that old school dungeon design, and I was into it, but the deeper I got into the game, the more they started to feel off, repetitive, kind of clunky, and honestly, I hate to say it, but just not that fun. The amount of backtracking I had to do during my playthrough was brutal. It really killed the momentum, and when you compare it to Skyrim, it's night and day. In Skyrim, dungeon design always feels intentional. You enter, make your way through, complete your objective, and 9 times out of 10, there is some hidden door or shortcut that loops you right back to the entrance. It's smooth, it makes sense. But in Oblivion, most dungeons just end like dead end, no loop, no shortcut, and after you finish the objective, you have to run all the way back through everything. It gets old fast. The other thing that threw me off was the enemy placement. You walk into one room and it's wolves. Then the next room has goblins, and then suddenly a random rat. There is no clear logic or theme to most of them. Skyrim did a much better job making dungeons feel cohesive. They had personality, whether it was undead ruins, bandit hideouts, or Dwemer ruins. Everything had a vibe. Now, I get it. Oblivion originally came out in 26 and back then that kind of design was pretty standard. And yeah, I understand they did not want to overhaul everything in the remaster, But still, when you're playing it in 2025, it just feels outdated, and that part was kind of a letdown. There are also a bunch of smaller details in the game that to me just feel kind of unnecessary. Take a gear repairing system, for example. I honestly don't see how it adds anything meaningful to the gameplay. After every fight, I will just tap a repair hammer that I had hotkeyed and boom, done. I guess it helped level up armor skills since that's its own thing, but beyond that, it just felt like a busy work. Another area that could definitely use improvement is the difficulty balance. I played on Adept and at the beginning it was rough. Healing potions were expensive and I really needed them constantly. But then, about 10 hours in, the game just flipped. I was steamrolling through enemies like they were nothing. I also watched a few streamers play on Expert, and honestly, it looked brutal in all wrong ways. Super tedious, overly punishing, and that wasn't even on Master difficulty. I can't imagine how unfun that will be. I mean, yeah, Skyrim had its own balancing quirks, but I never remember it feeling unfair or wildly inconsistent. It just flowed better overall. Oblivion's difficulty curve, not so much. Let's talk quests, because for me they were kinda hit or miss. I actually really liked the main quest, but I was surprised by how short it felt overall. The pacing was solid for the most part, except for one section that really dragged. The part where you have to close Oblivion gates near every city. By the time I hit the fourth gate, I was completely over it. It just became repetitive and I honestly just wanted to move on, but once that part was behind me, the story picked up again and I ended up finishing the rest in one sitting. And that final battle, not going to spoil anything, but when it happens, it absolutely delivers. Visually, it's jaw-dropping. The side quests are more of a mixed bag, but there are some real gems in there. A few of them are part of mini story arcs that stretch across 2 or 3 quests, and that is one of the reasons I have always loved the Elder Scrolls games. They give this world this immersive, lived-in feeling like it could exist somewhere. I finished the Arena and Fighters Guild quest lines, and they were okay. Not bad, just nothing mind-blowing. I do think Skyrim handled those guild stories a bit better, especially in terms of variety, storytelling, and character depth. I still plan to finish the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood quest lines. I have heard a lot of good things about them, and then there is a Shiverbrick Isles DLC. One of my friends told me it literally changed how he views storytelling in games. I don't know if it's going to hit me that hard, but I'm definitely excited to find out. Look, Bethesda games are clunky, we all know it. They are far from perfect. Some people even call them AAA indie games because how rough around the edges they can be. But somehow the overall experience still ends up being amazing. There is something about them that just pulls you in. The world is so immersive that you kind of forget about the flows and just get lost in the fun parts. The gameplay loop is weirdly addictive too. Grab a quest, head to a bandit camp, clear out the enemies, loot everything inside, struggle with your carry weight, head back to town, sell it all, get your reward, and then do it all over again. It should get old, but it doesn't. So yeah, even though I have pointed out a bunch of issues, dungeons, balance, some quest stuff, I still genuinely believe Oblivion and the Elder Scrolls series as a whole is one of the best gaming experiences I have ever had. And why that? I don't know. I guess it's just Bethesda magic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video or have your own thoughts on Oblivion Remaster, drop a comment below. I would love to hear what your experience has been like. And hey, if you like the vibe, hit that like button, maybe subscribe for more game content, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then, happy adventuring and stay safe out there.